Hello, Simon. I'm very thankful that we were taking the time to do this one-to-one conversation about what is going on, with the project.
Thank you for having me again. I think it's the 40th time now. It was about 3 years and 4 months. We started in December 2020.
It's about 50 days, 40 to 50 days to complete
Yeah.
the suit. That's usually what I say.
Yeah.
How you've managed to handle the pain and how you've overcome fear and anxiety that you had at the beginning, and you were beating yourself up saying like, I'm not good enough or I'm not strong enough, and all of this inner struggle. So how was it for you to overcome that?
While you were talking, I thought about, did I overcome that? I think it's still a process. Coming back here, I now realize I'm at a point where my mind is pretty calm, but still my body has some reactions. I get anxious and nervous the days before. I think there's just a part of my body that really remembers that I'm going to spend time in pain. Pain is still the main thing about tattooing, right? That either attracts people or discourages them. I get asked often, how did you come up with the courage to do a full bodysuit? And I never really thought about how I would deal with it before we started. To me, it was just clear, well, there is so many other guys and women that do that. So it's doable, right? And you also supported me a lot by doing the stencils all over and then do the feeling sessions after that.
Do you think you would have done the full body if you had started by just doing the chest, and after the chest realized, oof, that's a little bit more painful than I thought it would be?
Ah, man, I think it's hard to say. I think I would have had still the vision of doing this full body, but it wouldn't have happened in 3.5 years or 4 years. It took me less and less time to feel ready again. Now it's a couple of weeks. In the beginning, it took me a couple of months to just be able to think about coming back here and feeling comfortable and confident again. So I think I wouldn't have done the whole suit, at least not within a 5-year frame.
Out of all the bodysuits, only 2 emailed me saying they wanted a bodysuit out of 8 people. You and Hadi are the last 2 I started. So obviously I've learned from the 6 predecessors, and I've designed it and composed it knowing what I've done with the others. Your suit is a little bit more futuristic. It has this super edgy, strong feeling to it. For sure, mapping out everything at once allowed me to have a clearer vision. It takes a certain level of maturity and commitment and craziness. What drove you at 26 to come up with this idea?
It's obviously the question I get most, and the question that I kind of stopped asking myself. I'm still very much learning what drives me to do that. Since obviously during the 3 years we worked on my body, I went through transformations personally as well. It's still a process of learning what this commitment brought me. I had a tattoo before, which we covered. So I was already thinking about getting tattooed more heavily and in what kind of styles, and I researched artists for years before I wrote to you. When we talk about full body or large piece at least, there was really never an alternative for me than your work. The decision came very naturally, and I always resonated with the idea of getting art on myself, and I'm not an artist. I like to wear art. I'm a very aesthetic person, but I think I just got really drawn to you and how you're interested in enhancing the body symmetry in motion as well, and that just resonated with me so much. So I always connected your work to bodysuits.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see the rest. Of course, I saw the rest, but what struck my interest was the whole concept of doing this whole suit and having the possibility to do it with someone that I felt through the YouTube videos at least I would resonate with, that is interested in creating a peaceful environment and not blood and tattoo is hard and suck it up. And that obviously gave me, as a sometimes rather anxious personality, space to imagine myself in. I just heard this motivation to enhance the human body, play with the movement, make it symmetrical like the body itself is. You spoke about ambience, I think, as well. I saw a lot of your studio. It looked calm and peaceful. All that just added up to a picture that looked very beautiful in me for getting tattooed in.
So the environment was also an element that you
Yes,
took into consideration.
yes, definitely.
Would you have done this type of project if I was working in a busy tattoo shop?
I might have. I think a lot of my trust comes down to your persona. I remember exactly when I watched a video of you the first time and I heard your voice and how you talk about your work, and that really attracted me. I remember the contrast being tattooed by you in your exhibition space in Paris. That was already different. People looked at me and got an idea what it feels like inside of me when someone looks. I get these impulses then, well, maybe I don't want to move my face too much because of the pain, because the camera is watching. So I think I would have grown in different directions if I got tattooed in a loud and busy shop. The idea of being covered in a beautiful tattoo that makes sense from top to bottom, that was by far the biggest motivation. I never thought about age. I finished my studies. I had some money at least. I knew I wanted to do that eventually. Man, why? I don't know, because I can. I don't know, it just attracted me and I have to do something. I want to do something. I just follow what feels good to me.
How do you think the tattoo echoed in different areas of your life?
Yeah, in the beginning it was obviously just visual transformation, and me and also my girlfriend, we realized how quickly it blends in, how quickly we get used to the new way of looking at my body. That was very quick and also kind of frustrating, I think, because yeah, you get home with a new half of chest, you see it every day and it like pops in your head like crazy and you feel proud of it because you can't overlook it, and then a few weeks later it's just there and you forgot about it, kind of. In the beginning it was just like, wow, okay, Louis told me it's gonna be more transformation than just outside, so let's wait for that. Now I slowly start to see it more clearly, but the biggest impact it still has on me is the act of leaving my comfort zone. It's a big topic for me, not only in tattooing, but also in just personal development. And accepting and experiencing that I can grow outside of comfort, that starts to really benefit my life in a very positive way, because it just makes me being able to consciously go into a difficult room or situation or space, and I can still be connected to myself. Obviously, empathy comes and goes when you're struggling with tattoo pain after a couple of hours, but learning that it will pass and having the experience of coming out of it and feeling good about it over and over again, I can transport that into every aspect of my life, be it love, relationship, work. And it's not this mentality of being hard and overcoming. It's much more a feeling of what happens if I stop being hard, if I can relax in a difficult situation and stop fighting against it.
Yeah, at the beginning you were really...
Yeah, I was fighting a lot, and
Right.
I still fight a lot.
I remember telling you there's no point of fighting the pain, you're gonna lose. And the only thing that you're doing is hurting yourself because you're focusing onto the negativity, focusing onto the pain, focusing onto the struggle, onto the you can't do it, instead of focusing on, oh, I just did 2 hours.
I tried to feel into those moments when I started to really push myself down and I'm not able to do that, and going into that kind of mindset. I think it still goes there, but it's not believing so much that I can't do it anymore. When I went to those places where I was convinced that I couldn't go on and that I needed to stop, those were moments where I rescued myself into comfort zone again. I always know I have the last word. If I want to stop, I can stop. Even that took some learning to feel in charge. That changed a lot, to feel like I have a choice. But those moments where I kind of retracted into safety or comfort zone again, those are still here, but I know I can take a break, try again for 15 minutes. And if should I pass out, then
This is the strategy that I have with my clients, is to tell them, you have a choice, you can stop anytime you want. But what if we do 10 more minutes? Once you've done 10 more minutes, I'm like, you've done 10 more minutes. What if you do 20 more? And then you get to 1 hour, 2 hours. My goal is to make you make more progress. The fact that I also don't do half days and it can only be a full day.
I hated you for that. I don't pay
But
more.
in the end, it would have taken you 5 more years to complete
Yeah.
the project. Once you are in the water, just swim. Just go for it. And because I also know it's possible. Once you've proven yourself that you can do a full day, and not only one full day, but 2 on the row, 3 on the row, 4 on the row, and you start to every time rewire your brain like, no, I can't do it. In the end, I did. And then I can't do it, I did. Transforming your body, great. Super happy about it. It looks great. You're happy living with it. My real goal is not that. My real goal is how I can allow you to feel like a superhuman. As the client, would you have preferred to do half days every 3 months?
No, in retrospective, not at all. It certainly gave me a different level of confidence, and it still does. And I also know I have a different toolbox. I can either go fighting for a while, and I allow myself to do that, but I know I can switch to a different state of mind at some point. That comes, I think, also thanks to you for pushing me.
If you stay in the fighting mode, it's not gonna be enjoyable. You're here, you have to go through it. You have two ways. Either you suffer and struggle through it, or you embrace it and you try to enjoy the process and try to enjoy the ride. Isn't it better to go home and to have the leg finished? Oh yeah, but I can't, it's too painful. Yeah, but man, would it look good? Yeah, it would. All right, so I'll give you 20 minutes, break, tea, rest, breathe. Let's try to do it. There is always the limit to where you can push. You can push to make more progress until the moment where I see in your eyes you can't do it. And this is the moment where I'm telling you immediately, super proud of you. You did amazing.
True.
So you don't even leave room to feel like, okay, I didn't do enough. And then you rechange the dialogue into, man, you did amazing. We did so much progress today. So proud of you. Next time we'll finish it.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it does help a lot. I think it's this positive reinforcement. Like, I'm here, fuck, I gave up. And then you make it very clear when we stop from pushing to, okay, we start to calm down now. That's a clear moment in your schedule, I think. It's most beautiful for me, the nicest moment of the day.
Yeah, when you lay with the music and
Yeah.
you have like these 30 more minutes or just taking a nap after a long session.
Yeah. It's
I love giving this space, to the client to process. I think that's also the luxury of being in a private tattoo shop. I'm not closing the door. You want to stay here with the music and process the day. I think it's very valuable. I always feel like the transformation for the person who's choosing to get the bodysuit is one thing, but there's your partner next to you who saw this transformation, who fell in love with you with a different body. How it was for Tina to witness this transformation over the years.
I think what is most prominent is that she went through the healing with me. Always these 10 days of me coming home, not being able to move for 5 days. The emotional struggles are more present for me before I come here. My body starts to close down. I don't feel myself as good. It feels like a protective mechanism, kind of. Feels paradoxical because even though it feels like turning inwards, I feel myself less. And Tina, she goes with me through these periods of emotional instability or struggles. Yeah, it's been so many days of healing, like let's say
40 sessions over 15 trips, roughly.
roughly, yeah. So that's 150 days of healing. I enjoy healing.
Yeah?
Because it means I just went through these 2 days. For me, it's a time of feeling proud and the struggle of not being able to walk, or the physical pain for me during the healing is not so bad. It's just the shower after. The shower at the first morning is rough. But for the people around me, obviously, they can't do anything with me. I can't go do groceries. I can't go out. I can't go swimming for 2 weeks.
So
And I didn't really ask them if they are okay with that, right? So I know that it's been a struggle for Tina to go through these 150 something days with me. And to her, I think she also kind of forgot how I looked like without the tattoo. And in retrospective, it's obviously very hard to separate inner transformation that came from the tattoo process and inner transformation that maybe came from our relationship or from other things we're doing. It's certainly also an interesting experience for her to go somewhere where we don't wear a lot of clothes, even lakeside sauna. I attract a lot of eyes on me, I think, which sometimes is nice for her because it takes off eyes of her. I know that women struggle some places a lot with showing skin and feeling exposed. So I think sometimes that feels good to her if I take that part for a while.
The fact that it's symmetrical and so precise will get even more attention. Even for the people who don't like tattoos, I think it sparks the interest of, oh wow, there is a thought behind it. It was just not tattoos collected over the years. It's a piece of art. Even a grandma at the supermarket when you're wearing a short and a tank top in Switzerland, even if she doesn't like tattoos, it will spark a different reaction. Do you think you've had some positive feedback based on the iconography of the tattoo?
Yeah, 100%. It's funny that you mentioned these grandmas who might look at it as something else, as just, oh, another tattooed young guy. Sometimes I think it's so well integrated, it's so well adapted to my body that sometimes it gets overlooked. From some distance, people think I'm wearing a long sleeve. I get the joke very often, oh, you're dressed even if you take off your clothes. Many people can view it as a dress. And I think that's very interesting because it means that they see something different than foreign objects. To them, it's part of my body.
The fact that your body is symmetrical re-emphasized the idea that it's just another layer of clothing.
It's a suit.
It's a suit. Patrick called it the couture birthday suit.
If you're naked, you're in your
you're
birthday suit,
wearing a
right?
birthday
Yeah,
suit.
right.
The couture is tailor-made. How can it be even more tailored than being inside the skin? If we look back to the pictures at you first and we compare to you now, you grew in size. You're working out much more. You have this passion for ropes. Do you think the tattoo helped you to take a better care of your body?
I always had an interest in being fit and moving my body and being able to feel my body. I think all the healing and all the poking, it meant that I spent a lot of time feeling my body, a lot. It gave me a different perception of my body. And the healing part, I think, gave me a lot of empathy to myself. And the tattoo process makes me be more confident with myself, and that in turn creates the space and possibility for me to feel good inside my body. And that leads to all these other things like, oh, suddenly I feel very good about leaving my comfort zone. Suddenly I feel very good about moving my body first thing in the morning. Objectively, I feel like my skin has more worth. It's very plainly put, but it has an effect. It doesn't resonate so much to put value on a body or a living thing in any way. But yeah, it makes me feel better about looking at myself, and that helps a lot, I think.
If you spend so much time changing your physicality toward looking like an art piece, it will impact your perception toward yourself. You're working to pay for tattoo sessions that are very hard. And then, because you've done all of this, it reinforces the self-confidence that you get because you love yourself more.
Now I start thinking about when people will hear this and they might think, well, I can plan this out. I can get a full bodysuit in order to... But it doesn't work like this.
Why wouldn't it?
I don't know.
It could.
It could, yeah, true.
It's,
but you would still have to go through all these stages of struggle and...
Yeah, but the stages of struggle are helping you. Now, for the viewer, they know that, oh, okay, I was thinking of the physical transformation. I didn't know it would have an impact on my self-esteem, my confidence. The biggest tool you have is your mind, your self-confidence. This is the thing that will help you get further into any, personal project that you're venturing in. I have clients who took loans to get tattooed.
Me too, by the way.
I know. At first I was like, oh, I don't want a person to, get a loan to get tattooed by me. And at some point I made peace with it because I realized that the transformation was so deep on so many layers that if this tattoo gives you more confidence, it will make you more confident in your work, which therefore will make you attract more money. So you can see this tattoo as a way for you to bet on yourself in some ways. Be like, okay, like I'm choosing myself, I'm building myself physically, emotionally, mentally, and so on, which will make me more efficient in my work, which will make me attract more money. I think that somehow the fact that it represents so much of a sacrifice in many ways will make the project more impactful. But I'd love to hear your opinion about it.
I've never been good at saving money. I've always spent it. When I had it, I just spent it. It's always been like that, and I think it's a huge part why it's so easy for me to spend so much money on a tattoo. But then again, it's also worth it for me, even though I know how much money I spend because I earn it all. I've been lucky that it's not been an existential struggle, even though I spend maybe half of my earnings into my tattoo the past 3 years. But then again, I think for me it's totally worth it, and it's a question that I get frequent. How much money does it cost? If they hear how much time I spend here, that's the next question I get. And if I tell them, they go crazy about it. And if I would tell them I spent 50K for a car, nobody would blink with an eye, right? And the car is certainly damaged before I will. Let's hope so. It's this relative manner of how much a tattoo can cost. I don't agree with it, that it can't be a lot. Earning the tattoo physically, to me, is much more of a motivator than having to earn the money for it. I would be working anyways, and I would probably spend it on something else. I wouldn't save it, most likely. I would do something else, no idea what. I'm really afraid of finishing because the project is gonna be removed from my life.
It takes so much pace in your life for such a long time. It's a separation with yourself, with these inner processes of I did it, I've overcome my struggle, my pain, I've went through the healing, and it's been constant for 4 years. And now you will not have these moments anymore. You gain something because that's finished. You have this feeling of completion. I've done it, I've overcome, I've made this. But you're also losing these moments with yourself. Mm-hmm. How do you feel you're going to deal with it?
Right now, I feel very positive about it, because I think there has so many doors have opened the past 3 years for me, and I have so many ideas and plans of other spaces that I can go into to grow and to learn what it's about to be human, and so much love to explore. The money and time effort I'm spending, I slowly get impatient into putting that into other things than tattooing. Mm-hmm. So in that way, I look forward to finish. Now I'm not really sure what I'm worrying about. I think it's just being curious about how this will feel, finishing a bodysuit. But I'm not really afraid of it. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like it's gonna be a loss. I think it's much more of a loss for you because you don't get my suit every 10 weeks or so.
It's a very hard thing to finish a project, and the moment you finish it, it just goes away.
Gone.
You know, my art pieces in the studio, I finish them and I get to see them every day, and I enjoy that. The biggest frustration is to have to say goodbye. The good thing is that I know who you are, and I really hope that I'll get to see you for many years, and to see the project age. When we're going to finish it in 6 months, you will be, 31? We're taking a picture of it at 31. But when I will take another picture of it when you'll be 50, it will be different. Your skin will be different. And I think having this opportunity to see the work age is fascinating. Patrick, my second bodysuit, passed away at 38, and I won't get to see this. And I just had to let it go, knowing that no one will ever see this work again beside in pictures or videos that we did. I realized we've put so much effort, a lot of passion into this project, which really pushed me to document my work even more than documenting also the physical transformation. This is also why I want to do more of this format of videos where we can look back into this interview in 20, 30, 40 years and be like, wow, I was young and crazy, huh? I did it. How ambitious it is for you to go through this. And I think this is such an inspiration for a lot of other people, because you are showing not only that it's possible, but that it's much deeper than what meets the eyes.
I agree, and what just came to me, people who wear your work, they're not only inspiring other people to get tattooed or what's possible in the world of tattooing. I feel that every person that I meet, that I will meet, usually they're confronted with your work. If I spend more than an hour or at least some time without a t-shirt or without clothes, and I feel I'm inspiring these people a lot in some way or another, just on a human level. I can put more of myself out there with the tattoo that doesn't need to be said. Showing your art to other humans has always been very much triggering curiosity, and people have been inspired by just seeing what human body can look like if you do what we did. It touches much more people than you think, I believe, because it's by far not only targeting persons who are interested in tattooing. And that's the beauty of it. I think it's symmetrical, it's gray, it melts on my body, it's not foreign. People see it and think they usually the first words is, well, I've never seen something like this. And I think it triggers something in them.
Symmetrical tattoos, it's not like there is thousands of them. There is thousands of Japanese bodysuits, thousands of tribal bodysuits. Symmetrical brings another layer to the picture. They are very rare, so obviously it sparks even more curiosity. Any social interaction you have in your life since you got this tattoo, the tattoo took a big part of it. Any new people that you meet, most likely the first thing, if you're undressed, they're gonna ask is why or how. It will always be in the foreground of all of your interactions.
In the beginning, yes, it's been a dominant topic.
Do you feel like it helped you to get out of this social awkwardness that you may have at the beginning?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like it makes it easier for me to skip small talk. People have just more interest in what else is there than just what do you do for work, how old are you, what's your hobbies. Obviously, I have some crazy hobbies, right? So people want to know more about that. It's not only positive reactions that it triggers, it's also mixed and negative ones sometimes. But it makes interactions with me come to an interesting place more quickly, even though I don't like it if it's too much about me or myself. But it says a lot about the other person, what questions I get asked. How much did you pay? Was it painful? Or why do you want this? Or different questions.
You can analyze the depth of the person through the question they're going to ask.
I think so, yeah.
You said that you didn't like to have the emphasis on you. Quite contradictory, right? Yes, it takes away maybe the attention on you, Simon. We will be maybe staying onto the superficiality of like the tattoo, but somehow it also attracts more attention to you.
Yeah, it actually feels really simple to me, because a couple of times already I've told people that I feel like my tattoo is talking for me. It gives away myself without me actively telling them about myself. Not even so specific. I don't really know what the tattoo tells about myself, and I think it's different things for different people who see it. But it just gives a picture of me without me having to describe it. And it's just this thought of now my body looks like I would have wanted it to look like. And I think that's a very beautiful wish, and it's even nicer if I can grant my wish, as we did, having no choice or no saying in how our bodies look like when we get born. I think it's very valid to wanting to look different.
It's having the power to transform your own physicality, which therefore gives you more confidence.
More connection to myself. I feel like I'm inhabiting a house that I have built.
This brings me to my favorite part of our relationship, or the relationship I build with any of my clients, is that it's your tattoo.
It bothers you.
But is it? I mean, if I think about it,
Yeah.
it's my bodysuit. It's my tattoo. It's my creation.
Yeah.
But it's also yours on your side. It brings such an interesting dialogue about ownership, about copyrights. You are a blend of both of us somehow. And I don't think there is anything equal. And I'd love to hear your thought of that. How do you relate to your body?
I dominantly see and feel the side which just says, it's mine. I felt every dot of it. I had a saying in the design. It feels like my design, even. I'm very happy that I didn't have to put up with the technicalities of it. But yeah, I find it very interesting how you are describing kind of the same thing. It's yours because it's your creative output and you worked for it similarly hard than I did. Yeah, I never really thought about ownership that way. But as I said, it really feels like my own house that I have built. And in a way, you maybe helped me build my first own house, which I want to take much more care of than my first given flat. But I find it very hard to go into your perspective or to even to have an idea how it feels like to view your creative vision on someone else. Just during this interview, I kind of get a weird feeling because I never thought about it this way. I was never able to put myself into that perspective as much as I am able now.
Very interesting to hear your thought of that. On my side, I mean, it's so much my project.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, so it's like the perfect. It's the coin. It has two sides.
Yeah.
You know, but it's
And
the
they're
same
not fighting
coin.
each other, you know?
And they're not fighting. They are just intertwined together.
I don't feel attacked by it because you can't take it away from me, and I can't take it away from you, right?
Yeah. And I think we just have to agree to disagree on who owns it. For me, it's both, 100%. That's why when you say it's yours and it's your house and you built it, I'm like, really?
But that's the great thing. You're so involved into this. It's much more than a contract to you. During the whole 3 years, I didn't know who wanted it more, you or me.
Without you, I would not be able to do it. But without me, you would not be able to wear it. So it's another part, another layer of this connection that we have. It brings me to a question of what would be our relationship like, or what do you want our relationship to be like once the tattoo is finished?
Yeah, we have spent so much time together, but I think we have talked much less than many people would imagine you would talk. I mean, imagine being at the hairdresser. It's not like that. It's much more peaceful and quiet, and I think you're enabling this with your space, that we can be quiet and just listen to loud music. And obviously I feel very connected to you.
What you just said now is so interesting. We didn't speak much. I know you, but when we were together, we work. When I'm tattooing, we are not speaking because I want you to be in your zone and because I need to be in my zone. That's why sound system is so important.
Makes you shut up.
Yeah, I mean, music is our separation and our bond at the same time. This is how important music is. It allows you to escape your own pain somehow because you get into the music. And it allows me to create this separation between us where, okay, I know he's having a good time because he's listening to good music.
I think I connected with you a lot on a personal level, maybe a lot through music, but I very much feel like we're friends. A main part why I feel so good on this journey is because I feel like we are connecting very well. You could very well enjoy this private studio with a very different kind of music. It's a coincidence that we like the same music, and it's also a coincidence that we match on other levels, and I feel like we're understanding each other a lot. We have similar ideas about the world, and
Is it a coincidence or we just attracted each other?
yeah, probably we attracted each other by that.
Two personality coming together that are crazy enough to make such a project come to life. Did you ever have any doubts about not just your commitment, but just the design choice? As we've stated, you've changed over the years. Did it ever impact your design decision or the choice of the artist?
No, that's plain and straight. I never had any regrets. It's part of how it got created. It very much feels like it's meant for me.
Did the fact that you didn't design it somehow allow you not to be able to regret it? What I mean is that if you had done the design decision yourself, you could blame yourself. Oh, I don't like it so much. But the fact that you're surrendered to someone else's vision helps you to be like, okay, it's the way he wanted it to be.
Yeah, that resonates,
You know?
actually. I never thought of it like this. It even inherits some freedom that I was able to load that all onto you, like all the decision making.
To build your house.
To build my house. I start to not get fixated on the idea that I will feel complete. I mean, complete as in my tattoo is complete, yes. Even though there is ideas, of course. But
What ideas?
I mean, there is always skin left, right? I feel really good with this traditional cut. And I really like my hands. But yeah, there is some ideas how the design on my body could pop up on different parts which are not tattooed yet. I talked to you about the inside of my ear, my palm, the bottom of my foot. Those are parts that sometimes come to mind that I could imagine continuing this design, but only done by you. That feels very clear to me.
You're not the first one who brings it to the table. And
To continue in general.
to continue in general, to do the neck, the hands, the feet. Of course, if you really come to me and like, I really, really want to do it, and if you don't do it, I'll do it somewhere else. Well,
You mean?
I'll do it. Okay. But if you really ask my opinion, I just love so much the fact that it just holds so much more power if you keep it this way. Because of the fact that you did not do it. Because the easy decision would be to keep going. Because it's the statement of stopping before it gets too much.
Yeah.
I see you now, you have nothing, like there is no way, if I look here, there's no way I would imagine you have this body.
Yeah,
No
it makes
way.
me feel good as well.
You know?
Yeah.
There's such a big element of surprise where it's not put out there, where it's kept so private. It's my opinion.
I think in the past, I've kind of felt I couldn't agree with this because I didn't resonate with the thought, well, I need to be able to hide it. Because that was the initial idea for me to, where do we stop? So I can put on some clothes and it's gone. That's just like a thought of security when starting a bodysuit. While we were working on my body, more and more I realized, well, I want to show it. Hiding it doesn't feel good, and being able to hide it was already like a way of, well, I didn't take it so, a way of chickening out because I was able to hide it, right? But now I can find peace in the idea that it stops. And what you're saying makes more sense to me now because this was the intention and that's where we stopped. I would have hoped for videos like these before I started getting tattooed, before I wrote an email to you.
Yeah.
I researched so much about the background and vision behind bodysuits and how people felt, what struggles they had. I was researching so much and all I could find was Reddit entries. But I would have wished for people I could follow in that process. That's why I always asked about how the others are doing.
So thank you so much for taking the time to share with, like people a little bit more of of what goes behind the scene.
Yeah, thank you so much for building my house as well.
Yeah. Thank you for living in my house.
You mean my house?
Our house.
Our house.
Thank you so much.